Okay, this is a movie review, and the name of the movie is called Quo Vadis. So Quo Vadis is a movie. There's different versions of it. I'm reviewing the 1951 version of it. That's probably the most available one. And by the way, you could see this for free on YouTube. You have to go to this guy's channel. His name's like Felipe Gonzalez Cabral. And you can also see it on other video channels. There's other video channels on the internet where you can find it. And this will be, for him, it'll be in English with Spanish subtitles. But there's other versions in Polish. And but anyways, why do I think it's such a great movie? By the way, Ayn Rand, who's a big expert on literature, she said that Quo Vadis was the greatest novel ever written. The name of the author is Henryk Sienkiewicz, and he's a Polish guy. It was written in the 1800s, and it reminds me of a quote by Arthur Schopenhauer. Arthur Schopenhauer was a German philosopher, and he's a brilliant guy, a little crazy, but you know, all geniuses are a little crazy. And he said, "Hardly anything happens in a great book. For example, in Tristram Shandy, almost nothing happens." By the way, I don't know if you've ever read Tristram Shandy. It's a very funny, clever, crazy book. It was written in the late 1700s. The author's name is Lawrence Stern. And he basically talks about everything that happened before he was born. And as silly as that sounds, it ends up being quite entertaining. Arthur Schopenhauer could read in 5 languages, and he had read just about everything written up until his time. He lived like around 1800. Okay, a little later than that. So Arthur Schopenhauer says what really interests us in a book is the interiority, the thoughts of the characters. And that's true. A great book is where you identify with the situations the characters are in, with the characters and how they responded to it, what they said. And so that's why the book is magnificent. The book is about 16 hours of more than 16 hours on audio CD. I had the audio CD and I got through about half of the book. Then the CD player in my car broke. I finally got it fixed, and by the time I got a new CD player, I lost the CD book. It was so stupid. I'm still looking for it. But anyway, so I got to see the movie, and it's great. It's beautiful. The movie is not as good as the book because, you know, it's not easy to take probably an 18-hour book or so and condense it into, you know, 2.5-hour movie. But the movie's still great. And I really like a lot of these movies from the 1950s and 1960s. They put a lot more effort into character development. There is some action in the movie. There's a couple of good action scenes. But it's not like a lot of the modern movies. I'm not a fan of the modern movies that are all action, loud noise and stuff. No, I like the thoughts of the characters. This lady, her name is Lygia. She's a barbarian princess held prisoner by the Romans, like a hostage to maintain peace with a barbarian tribe. And this is General Marcus Vinicius. And he has just been triumphant for the Romans. And he's returned home to Rome after 3 years of being absent. And he falls in love with Lygia. And at first he comes on too strong and kind of acts like a jerk, basically. But the more you kind of learn about both of them, especially Lygia, you really like her. She's really good, real smart. And he's actually a good guy, too. He's just kind of rough around the edges. And what's magnificent about the book is the interiority of their thoughts. You know, you hear them thinking out loud and all the other related characters. The uncle of Marcus Vinicius is Petronius, who's an advisor to Nero and kind of a brilliant, clever guy. And there's actually comic relief. I don't have time to show all the pictures here, but there was a Greek, which is kind of funny because the Romans thought of the Greeks as being kind of clever and sneaky. That was kind of the reputation the Greeks had with the Romans. And the character is exactly that in the book, and he's very funny. So anyways, I think you'll enjoy this. This is the type of movie you could watch, you know, with your family, and everybody will enjoy it. It's beautiful. It's good. Nero was, you know, he was played well. He was the actor playing Nero in the movie is Peter Ustinov, and he did a clever portrayal of him. You know how vain he was, and Nero wanted to make some new buildings in Rome, and so he didn't really have space for them. So what he did was he burned down much of Rome, the city. And then, you know, he knew people got upset about it, so he then blamed it on the Christians, and that's part of the story. And there's always, you know, a good story always has a contrast, different scripts, if you will, between what the early Christians are thinking, what the Romans are thinking, what the other people involved are thinking, the barbarians and all that stuff. And then St. Peter makes an appearance in the movie, and that gets to where the Quo Vadis title comes from. I'll show that on the next slide. Well, basically, here, I'll show it on the next slide. And there's only 2 slides. This is the last slide of the talk. So here, by the way, is a picture of Nero. He playing the fiddle or the harp while Rome burned, so to speak. Quo Vadis comes from a vision of St. Peter that he had. He was fleeing Rome because Nero had begun to persecute Christians and he had other plans and places to go. And as he was fleeing Rome, he had a vision that he saw Christ, and Christ basically, he said to Christ, Domine Quo Vadis, where are you going, Lord? Because Christ was headed into town, into Rome. And he's carrying a crucifix on, and he said, I'm going back to Rome because you have deserted your people, and I'm going to go be crucified again. And St. Peter's like, oh, okay, I get it. I got to go back. All right, but it's a beautiful picture, and that's a kind of question anybody could ask themselves. And here's Fulton Sheen. He's an old preacher guy, and he said, Quo Vadis, America, where are you going? And every individual asks themselves that question, Quo Vadis, where are you going? What is your pattern of behavior, thoughts, actions, what you're reading, what you're studying? Where is it leading you to? And, anybody who wants to achieve anything needs to ask himself that question. So anyways, it's a beautiful story, beautiful painting. I think you'll enjoy the movie. I give the movie, let's say, 4.5 out of 5 stars, just because I love the book more. But it's a very nice movie. It's very pleasant. The characters are honest and good, and it's all it all makes sense and it fits and it resonates with real life and real feelings. Okay. So anyways, hope you enjoy it.